We do it every Friday. Catch up with our guy Larry Krueger on a Ska Friday after the Niners win 36-24 over the Seattle Seahawks up at Lumen Field in Seattle. You hear and see Larry Krueger every night, weekdays, Monday to Friday, on the Niners Nightly Show here on KNBR, 6 to 7 p.m. And, of course, on the Krug Show every hour of every day of your life. Krueger joins us, courtesy of the Yuma Guest. What's up, Krug? How are you, man?
Doing fantastic.
Okay.
Fantastic. I was a little nervous going into yesterday, but the boys circled the wagons and everybody showed up, and it was just quite an enjoyable night.
But I should tell people, because like we do the hits on the pregame show every week, I don't think it's unfair to say that you've been nervous about every game so far this season. Would that be an unfair statement?
Really good. I felt really good about the Patriot game, actually. But
you did actually. I'll give you that. You didn't ever have any real fears about that one. You had angst a little bit about. I mean, opening night's always funky, just in general. You had a little bit of angst about the Rams, and you were absolutely right about them. The Vikings, you definitely had concerns about in terms of Justin Jefferson and how well Sam Darnold had played Week 1. And then yesterday, you seemed to have a bit of concern. But were any of those concerns hushed by the way they played?
Well, I mean, Brock Purdy is just. I thought that was one of the best games I've seen from Brock Purdy in a while. I mean, he really was good. His accuracy, I mean, he put out a dime show. That pass that he had to Kittle at the pylon was just amazing.
Yeah.
Just an absolutely amazing pass. But to me, it's the part of his game that we don't discuss very much is the mobility. He's moving around at the right time. He's trying to blend. Let's extend the play and give my guys a little bit more time to free themselves open down the field with, let's get rid of the ball and get it out of my hands and into the hands of my playmakers. And it's a delicate blend. But last night, I mean, with a lot of pressure, the rush was pretty fierce early and no sacks. He moved around expertly. I thought some of the plays where he moved were amazing. With the one where he found JJ late in the down, that was an incredible one. And then he made another play where he found JJ and JJ dropped it, or he looked like it hit the ground. The nose of the football hit the ground. I mean, both of those plays were incredible by Purdy. And even just some of the little things that he does to kind of buy himself a little bit more time, or sometimes turn a negative play into a 5-yard gain. I mean, the guy's playing at a high level.
Were they gonna find some safeties?
Yeah, well, because Mustapha's got the ankle, and Huff's got the wrist.
Yep.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. I mean, I'll say this too. I mean, I loved what I saw from Mustapha. Oh my goodness. I mean, he looks so good. Special. He is really good. But you're right. Yeah. I mean, I don't know what exactly. I mean, I know they like Jalen Mahoney, the undrafted kid they got from off the practice squad they signed after the draft. But if they have any extensive injuries, they may have to see if they can go, bring in a veteran or two.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, I mean, just in general for this game, because I was asking Tom this, and just based on how it played out in the second half, how it came down to a one-score game. Again, it's 23-17, and even Fred Warner after the game said, yeah, 1,000%, we were all sort of feeling and thinking the same sort of thing. But what you like about it is the resilience that sort of flipped the script, and part of that is due in part to the young guys who played really well yesterday. There was 4 of them. If you talk about the 2 guys in the secondary, in Renardo Green and in Mustapha, Dominic Purdy played really well, I thought, on the line yesterday. And, of course, you had Isaac Guerendo, who broke the long run that ultimately helped them win the game. I guess my question is, do you feel any different about this team than you did entering play yesterday, or are they still just who you thought they were?
Well, no, I mean, anytime the young players assert themselves on the big stage and kind of, show that they're NFL players more than, because you just never know. I mean, there's no law that says that the guys that you draft are going to contribute anything. And it's just really hard to find guys that can fit into your mix, especially if you've got a talented roster. And what a draft John Lynch had. Just the early returns. I mean, we haven't even seen Cowing do his thing, and he's impressive. We haven't seen Pearsall do his thing. He's impressive. But, I mean, the block on the Guerendo had that 76-yard run. But if you go back and watch it again, I mean, I didn't even notice this until I watched it on the rewatch. But Purdy not only blocked his guy, he blocked 2 guys on that play and created that whole highway for Guerendo. So, Purdy's playing great. The Guerendo explosion was much needed. Mustapha looks very, very special. But to me, the biggest play of the game was Renardo Green. It's 23-17, and, they're driving. and the place is starting to make some noise, and you can feel the momentum shift. And you got to think that the Niners are thinking deja vu, and here we go again. And then Renardo undercuts the ball to Metcalf and gets the pick. And when I talked to him in his locker, guys, he was so confident. The last couple of weeks, it's like this guy doesn't seem at all like a rookie, and he didn't play like one last night.
All right, Krug, most important question of the day, maybe the week.
Okay.
And if you don't get this one right, I'm going to be very disappointed. What kind of name is Pooney anyway?
Comanche, I believe.
Thank you. Very good, Krug. Very good. Well done. Copes has no idea what we're talking about because he refuses to see.
I knew where you were going with that, but I was like, I knew where he was going because we riffed on it last week, or earlier this week. But
you going to use the whole fist there, Doc? I mean,
thank you. They see we could go on and on and on, Copes, and you just have to enjoy it.
I think I missed it. I think the window closed. I think
Copes, look, defenseless babies.
Buenos dias, Puppet Taco. So
mattress, please. These tags aren't right.
Do you think Guerendo took a dive, slid on purpose, or didn't slide on purpose?
That was a very weird end, right? I mean, because it looked like he was kind of pulling up. He's got 4.33 speed. I wasn't expecting him to get caught from behind. And then when he got caught from behind, he slid in a way. It was almost like I wanted to be caught from behind. He told the writers afterwards that he was trying to save it for Juszczyk, but I don't know. I mean, and if he was trying to slide down, bro, you're overthinking it. Just score the touch.
Exactly. They're only at 5. Let's get beyond that 8 because it wasn't game over at that point. I mean, you stuff them. You could theoretically get the ball back down 8 with like 35 seconds left. And you're still a long shot, but it's better than being down 13 or so if they go ahead and score that touchdown. Didn't you feel like that was the game that ultimately could have been the Cardinals game and the Rams game? Like where they were the better team, you're watching it thinking, okay, they're the better team. And then they screwed up enough to lose to the Rams, screwed up enough to lose to the Cardinals, and they just didn't screw up enough last night. The kickoff return did not help because Seattle was dead in the water at that point, and that kind of resurrected them. But I almost felt like those were very similar to the Rams and Cardinals games, but they didn't do the dumb stuff in the second half to allow the team to take over and win the game. Like, I still think this is a really good football team. They just got some stuff to clean up. When they do clean it up, then they're really tough to beat.
Yeah, I mean, we're all big fans of pro and college football, and it's like it feels like totally different sports because in college, it's like the better team feels like inevitably, eventually they're going to win because there's so many possessions. But in the pros, to me, it's all about turnovers. I mean, the Niners had coughed it up 8 times in the first 5 games, and they lost some games they shouldn't have lost. Well, what happened in this game? They were +3 in turnovers, and so they overcame the fact that they still were not good on special teams and still are not good in the red zone and still got a 12-point win. But that was the difference. It was the turnovers. The turnovers in the NFL are such a huge factor. I mean, it sounds generic and it's not that, creative or anything, but it is the ultimate factor. How many possessions do you typically get in a game? 8, 9, 10. So if you have 3 turnovers, or like last week, they had 4 possessions in the second half and 4 turnovers with the turnover on downs. Yeah, I mean, that's how you get beat. That's how you get beat.
I saw your tweet earlier today because I happen to be watching this. I'll have it on in the house occasionally, watching Colin Cowherd because he's pretty entertaining. But I got a kick I got a kick out of your. I mean, he's a good guy too, but his list today of quarterbacks that were better than Purdy is just I think he's doing it for shock value because it's like I don't think there's one of those guys I would take ahead of Purdy, to be honest with you. And ultimately, it's not a fair question because you don't know who fits into whose system better and all that stuff. But I did say this, Krug. I said there's only like 5 quarterbacks in the league right now I will take over Purdy. It would be Stafford, Allen, Mahomes, Burrow, Lamar Jackson. That's it. The rest of them, I'll take Purdy and take my chances. I'll be good having him. And I know that might be high, but I mean, to me, he's a top 10 quarterback by any measure in my eyes. It's funny that we keep having this. We haven't talked to you about it, but this referendum every single time Purdy does something, whether he's good or not. And hasn't that train left the station like a long time ago?
Yeah, I mean, and it's funny. I mean, guys like Fred Warner will be like, I think he's the best quarterback there is. I mean, and
well, yeah.
and I mean, it's cool to hear them say that, but I mean, come on. I mean, this guy's. He makes a lot of plays. You know what? And I understand it. I mean, you guys understand it too. It's a lot of the traits that make Brock Purdy a special player you can't see, right? You can't see his processing or his vision but I mean the mobility, and like you look at him, he doesn't look like a guy who's overly mobile, but the reality is, there's a lot of Russell Wilson there, and it's Russell showed up in Seattle and the Niners could never beat him. And suddenly Purdy shows up here, and now the Seahawks can never beat the Niners. So they remind me so much. I mean, Purdy reminds me so much of Russell in the fact that he's smaller, but he's a winner.
Yeah.
And I know Greg Cosell hates that when he's a winner. Oh, come on, you can't define that. But I understand that. But the guy makes winning plays, and more than anything, I love that end zone camera, guys, where you can see the face. And you get a glimpse into at least the what's going on in the face mask, and he always seems very calm, focused, determined, but not frazzled. He doesn't look frazzled. So to me, and then the play has been very consistent.
Yeah.
It feel like they had more guys in space yesterday. I know Debo had a couple of nice open runs and he had the big long touchdown reception. But Brendan Ayuk, another quiet game. Just again to the yak yards. What'd you see yesterday?
Well, I mean, it wasn't great, but Debo, Debo almost got caught, but he made the play. I mean, they almost got him at from the heels, but he escaped and made a beautiful play. I mean, the run after the catch is a product of accuracy, but it's also a product of explosive speed. And Debo, that's his game. So I thought Debo, and I'll be surprised if Debo is fully healthy today after yesterday. He took some big hits last night, but I thought that was a gutty performance from him. I mean, it kind of shows in some of the biggest games. I've been critical of Debo, saying that he's lost some speed and he can't beat man coverage and some of the things that I'm seeing. But I mean, you got to give him his in that Philly game was huge last year. Who showed up? Him. Last night was a gotta have it moment. Who showed up? Him, as a runner, as a receiver. I mean, he's gutty player for sure, man.
No, definitely. I've always said him and Kittle are the ones that kind of bring the fire to the offense with their physical play. And I'm wondering if they found – I hate to say found something, Krug, but maybe Kittle is the guy down in the red zone, because they started off 0 for 2 last night, and I was thinking, here we go again. Drive all the way down the field and can't punch it into the end zone. But the more I thought about it, I was like, his first throw to Kittle was amazing. Like that took pinpoint accuracy to get that one home. And the second throw wasn't an easy one, but by red zone standards, it wasn't that hard. It just seems like they're having to work a lot harder, and obviously McCaffrey's out. We all know that. But that just can't be the excuse. We're 30th in the league in red zone percentage scoring touchdowns because of McCaffrey. I mean, they got to find some different ways to get in the end zone, because nothing more frustrating than driving all the way down the field and settling for 29-yard field goals or 32-yard field goals, which they've done way too many times this year.
Yeah, no question. I mean, the bad news is that they won yesterday and the red zone thing wasn't solved, right? That's the bad news. The good news is the guy they got practicing this week in Pearsall, I think, the good news maybe the solution. the good news is Ricky Pearsall is I think going to be a red zone monster. He just is he's a guy that I don't know if he can free himself up down the field consistently, because it's like one of those things where his actual foot speed is just okay. I mean, it's 4.41, but I don't know. I mean, where he's really special is that he can free himself up in a short area, like all the time at will. And him and Purdy in May, when they got some field reps together, were absolutely on the same page. There was an OTA at the end of May where these guys at the end of that practice, I was like, wow, you would swear that this was Stafford to Cooper Kupp. I mean, these guys were absolutely on the same page. If they can get to that point, I think Pearsall could be a red zone, maybe their answer in the red zone. He's so quick. He's such a great route runner. He can separate, and he'll do the field reps with Brock. They'll get on the same page. I'm eager to see what that looks like.
Larry Krueger, the voice you hear, you'll see him and hear him tonight on Niners Nightly, 6 to 7 p.m. And you're on tomorrow too, right, Larry?
Yeah, tomorrow as well. Tomorrow, though, I think got moved from 10 a.m. in its normal spot to I think like 1 p.m. because of the baseball move. Yeah. So we'll be on tomorrow right after the baseball game, probably around 1 o'clock. Looking forward to that.
Speaking of baseball, have you gotten the pangs yet for Birdsong?
I've been too busy. I've been too stressed about the Niners. I will though. I'll be jonesing for my Birdsong here within a couple weeks.
Let me ask you this: will the maniacal sports mind of a Krug throw a DVR or a tape in today to catch some Warriors preseason tonight?
Oh, Tommy knows I'm a sucker for that stuff. I mean, I'm Lindy Waters the third, all day and all night. I'm Marco Bellinelli in the summer league. Yeah. I'm Anthony Randolph, went for 40. I just saw him in downtown Walnut Creek. I'm if you show me an obscure Warrior moment, I'm there.
I'm in. Knee deep in it.
Krug's the guy that comes in and goes, "Oh, have you seen this guy? This guy's incredible." And then he's playing on like South Sudan.
Yeah, dude, he's not playing anywhere. He's not playing anywhere here.
What was that one? I quoted something when Tommy and I were doing the show. I'm like, this guy's got big numbers in the Adriatic League. It sounds like the Adriatic League.
I love that, dude. Never change, Krug. Never change, bro.
I think I was talking to Papa Giannis from the Kings.
Is that who it was?
I'm like, yeah, he was big in the Adriatic League.
Papa Giannis.
Hold on. Guys, we have audio. I believe we have audio. Here's Tim.
Oh, we do.
They also had Petrusev. Petrusev was the conference player of the year. He's leading the Adriatic League right now in scoring.
Petrusev.
It's the last I heard about Petrusev.
I don't know if I heard of him since before that. Yeah,
I sometimes buy in maybe before I should.
Krug, give me one team in the Adriatic League.
I'm a big fan of Olympiakos. No, I have no idea.
No, that's the Greek league, right? Larry Krueger, Niners Nightly, and all your Petrusev takes. You can hear him with him right here on the Sports Leader. Krug, have a nice weekend, man. We'll talk to you soon.
You got to sell it. If you're going to mention the Adriatic League, you really got to sell it.
You really do.
Adriatic League. All right, when we come on back,
Krug.
Tim Ryan's. Actually, we'll come on.